Welcome to the NC Spin After Spin. Additional comments from our panelists just available on our website. I want to ask you all, what do you wish you'd have said on last week's show, but you didn't? Chris?
Well, we talked about health care, the Affordable Care Act, and we talked a little bit about whether or not we should expand Medicaid. I was interested that Governor McCrory answered a questionnaire, which was in the Raleigh News and Observer this past week, saying President Obama wouldn't let him develop a North Carolina-based plan to expand Medicaid. I should have said Medicaid. That we don't know if that's true or not. Governor McCrory has never come up with a plan to expand Medicaid, like a lot of Republican governors, including prominently Chris Christie in New Jersey, folks all over the country. So I was a little disappointed that the governor still hasn't come up with a plan that the federal government can react to. There's plenty of ways to do this. I think Obama has actually been very flexible, and I think we deserve McCrory, or the voters and the people in North Carolina deserve our governor to come up with a plan. Let's look at it and then see what the federal government thinks.
All right. Cash, what do you wish you'd have said on last week's show?
I think that one of the reasons why Donald Trump is now saying, or now charging, that the media, in effect, is rigging the election system is because he is a control freak. He can no longer control the media. You recall very early on, particularly during the primaries, he was controlling the media. Anytime he went and appeared someplace, CNN, Fox, MSNBC, they were all there and covered his speech from first word to last. They were giving him free time by the truckloads. Now they've caught up with this act, they figured out what he's been doing, and now they've been hard on him. He's paying the price for taking advantage and controlling the media very early on. So anything he can't control, he's going to criticize.
Media made him, and now the media is criticizing him.
Hello.
Yeah, all right. What do you wish you'd have said on last week's show, Phil Kirk?
I needed to remind people that New York State, where Hillary's from, has no early voting. And I think it's hypocritical for her to come into North Carolina and criticize the Republicans for trying to reduce early voting from 17 days to 10 days. Of course, now the court's overruled that and it goes back to 17, but how you can come into a state and criticize voting laws that are much more liberal, excuse me, Chris, for using that word, much more liberal than the state that she's from.
All right. John, what do you wish you'd have said on last week's show?
Tom, we were talking about election stress disorder.
Yes.
And I think that here's a symptom of that in a recent poll of North Carolina voters by Survey USA. They asked an interesting question. They said if we could somehow go back in time and come up with different Democrat and Republican presidential nominees for president than the ones we have, would you absolutely want to do that? Would you somewhat want to do that, or would you not want to do that? In North Carolina, 77% of North Carolinians said they wanted to do that. That just goes to show you that the public is paying attention. They do get it right sometimes. They just didn't pick the right nominees. But I guess it's important to remember that lots of people don't participate in the primaries. Lots of people don't cast ballots. This is what you end up with.
So now
some pretty pathetic choices.
Awaken to the reality.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, thanks for watching the After Spin. We'll have more video all during the week on ncspin.com.